student. In fact, the AI in ICSE and CBSE, they started teaching in a 8th class itself. They know what is AI, what is GenAI. They are able to use much faster than all of us. So the Mission Million AI Coders objective is, it's for everyone. If you are into sales, massively it helps you. In fact, it replaces a salesperson. Before it replaces a salesperson, I wish all of us learn the AI and go along with the collaboration of the AI. Every time we get into new technology, we have to understand the size of it. I am not talking about AI, the Gen AI alone. Gen AI alone is a one now AI. Okay, the market size is 1.5 trillion, means I don't know how many of you seen the Surrogates movie. For every person there is a AI person. So in case if I don't want to go for a meeting, my AI clone will go for the meeting. This movie has come almost 10 years back. So we are talking about a 1.5 trillion. Okay, so what is this? From binary to bits to databases. In your regular technology, when you are using Java, your JDBC, ODBC and then databases are tightly connected. There in their databases, 2 into 2 is equal to 4, 3 into 3 is equal to 9. It is a mathematics. But in AI it is not mathematics, it's a context. It's all about the context, it's all about the pattern. It will not save the formula as a formula. It saves everything in a chunks in a vector databases. That's why the learning is different in AI. Okay, embeddings. Whatever the data you give into the AI, it actually chunks, it creates the embeds and then it recovers the embeddings. So we will go deep into the sessions as we move forward, but the Mission Million AI Coders, the master class is introduced every word to you so that you are aware of what I am talking. Spotting patterns. I want all of you to reflect and answer back. Everyone in the classroom, in the live and Google Meet. 3 followed by 8 followed by 15. What is next? I repeat my question. 3 followed by 8 followed by 15. 5 square minus 1. We have been taught about these patterns in our schools. Now that is what AI actually understands. It understands the patterns. Every day human wakes up, take up a shower and then goes to the office. As long as that pattern is followed, it will not find any abnormalities. The moment Sunday comes, the pattern changes, right? So the AI captures your pattern. Radha generally wakes up and then asks lot of questions on this token. My name is Radha Krishna. My is a token, name is a token, is token, Radha is a token, Krishna is a token. So it breaks up every word, every sentence into tokens, it chunks it and keeps in a vector and stores in a database. So we have to look at LangChain as a database, vector as a database, Hugging Face as a database. So you have a whole lot of new terminologies you will listen, but we should not worry. So I want to take a break here, ask if there are any questions. People who are in, I see 35 people on the Google Meet and then 100 plus on the Insta and live. I have 20 plus people in the classroom. Any questions at this stage? AI and GenAI. AI is the master, GenAI is the student. Your ChatGPT is a GenAI and we are able to access the GenAI very happily. But building AI will take millions and billions. That's what our Claude and ChatGPT are able to do. Claude and ChatGPTs are large language models, billions of tokens. Now, any questions in Google Meet? Okay. So I'm going next. So who builds AI tools and who uses AI tools? So to build a AI tool, definitely you need Python as a language, and to use AI tools, GenAI is the best. All prompt engineers, model trainers, UI UX designers. So they are part of the AI tools. I am not saying I am talking about who is building AI tools. That means AI is built by the ChatGPTs or a Claude or a small language models are built by the AI engineers. But I am talking about AI tools who are built on top of the language models. A prompt engineer and UI UX engineer, a model trainers. So if you look at today, I am training the model, loans that are developed by the companies and all products that are developed by the banks, we are bringing into a small language model with our ASKOXY loans, where we have a peer-to-peer lending RBI license. We are trying to enable more such opportunities to the people. So can I build alone? Yes, definitely we can build alone, but large language models, better we make it as an open source so that we all come together and build them. Banking and financial services model is picking up is, tomorrow if suddenly some company come and say, I am giving a loan, first of all, it will check that company is having a license or not. Without license, how that company is asking about a fixed deposit, how that company is selling a bond, it will check all those things. Okay, so now let's go a little more deep. Whenever you talk about the data, you insert the data into the databases and you retrieve it, right? So when you retrieve it, it's a straight retrieval. 2 into 2 is equal to 4. You don't ask why it is. But in AI, it's not a straight retrieval. It is a augmented generation. You get the data from the database, you get the data from ChatGPT, you also get the data from the web, and they all augment each other and then say, hey, is it true? 2 into 2 is equal to 4? Yes, 2 into 2 is equal to 4. There is a consensus, then they start displaying. That means somebody was telling, like, if Earth is 75 million years old, that much of data has to be fed to the ChatGPT. Okay. Is it required? Not necessarily. If you want a financial product which is a 10-year-old information is enough. But today we have more people to feed. See, if you look at Facebook, who is giving the data to Facebook? Facebook is not generating the images. We are uploading the images. That's how Facebook is having a large media of images. That's how the models also have become an open source. They not only build an infrastructure, but they also access the data from the public. So that's about the RAG, and there are 20 varieties of retrieval mechanism. Whether you retrieve directly from the database and web search is inquired, database and RBI is inquired, database and SEBI is inquired, database plus web plus SEBI plus RBI plus IRDAI. So once you have this kind of mechanism, it cannot be fake. But we will also discuss about, does ChatGPT or large language models attract virus, attract wrong data? Obviously, because it goes and scrapes the web. If somebody constantly talk negative about XYZ, we always see a political war, right? X talks negative about Y and Y talks negative about X. So even ChatGPT get confused. Why there is so much of, somebody says X is very good, somebody says X is very bad. So there is a confusion, it happens, and that's what somebody is worried. What if, like we have seen in a Rajnikant movie, the robo doesn't take a right action in some situations? What if it behaves wrongly? It is impossible to stop it, but we are already into that journey, right? We are talking about autonomous car. Once you build an autonomous car and put it on the road, it can do an accident, and if it is a EV autonomous car, it will blow up because of the battery. Okay, storing images. So in a regular model, we actually store images in S3, Amazon S3. Okay, but here the image is not stored as image. image or video is chunked into millions to do the presentation well. So speech to text we have Whisper, and for images generation we have used DALL-E, we have a Midjourney, and for video generation in the starting itself we have used Sora. So you don't need to master all this. If you are into software engineering, pick up coding. If you are into marketing, pick up content writing. If you are into fashion designing, you can jewelry fashion design. You really don't need jewelry and you really don't need to melt them and to Indian tradition. So you ask, because we see female assistant takes up one task at a time, agent can take up multiple tasks at a time. That's the difference, not much. Okay, so now we discussed, we have seen the ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a large language model. That means ChatGPT is having 4 lakh billion tokens of data. That is why it is a large language model. As we discussed, it has 4 lakh billion tokens. Now recently we have seen Indian company PhysicsWallah has launched small language model. So he actually launched a small language model with couple of million tokens, which is good for people preparing for J2E, for J2E entrance exams. So it's not necessary always a large language model. You can also build small language models so that you can go live. They have taken 3 to 4 years and almost billions of dollars, but for a small language model, you don't need to take billions of dollars. So how the LLMs are developed? LLMs are definitely developed using Python, and the wrappers can be developed using any of your technologies, Java technologies or JavaScript or VB technologies. The wrappers can be developed using any technologies. Sorry, a fan ante ఏంటి బాబు? కెమెరామ్యాన్ ఇది 4th టైం నువ్వు ఆపడం నన్ను. అట్లా మరి మేమంటే ఫ్రెషర్స్, మీరు ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్డ్కి ఇవన్నీ ముందే చూసుకోవాలి కదా. ఓకే ఓకే, సో వాట్ ఈజ్ మోర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ హియర్? వాట్ ఈజ్ మోర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్? Prompt engineering is more important. So if there are total 100 AI users, only one person, or in 1,000 AI users, only one person is working on AI, 9,999 are using on a GenAI. GenAI means how we are using ChatGPT, how we are using Claude. So what is more important is prompt engineering is more important. So we will learn deep about the prompt engineering. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఒక స్విచ్ చేయాలి, అక్కడ రిమోట్ వేయాలి, అందరూ కొత్తే. ఓకే, సో మీరు చేయండి బాబు, నేను డిస్టర్బ్ అవుతున్నాను. ఓకే, so sorry, these are all basic challenges. Chain of thoughts. Chain of thoughts is very important in prompt engineering. What is chain of thoughts? So when we start into a discussion, from a very first question we don't get the answer. We have to get into the question. So let's say, what was the best time of the Sachin? So it cannot understand. What was the best time of Sachin? What? Is it in cricket? Is it in a personal life? But context, we always use Sachin as a cricket. But it may answer, hey, Sachin is very happy when the first kid was born. But that's not you are expecting, right? So the chain of thought is, you will say, okay, good, it's good, Sachin is married and he got a first kid, but my question is about his cricket career. So then now it started context wise, okay, you are talking about Sachin and cricket, oh, you are talking about Sachin Tendulkar, which means the Sachin answer could be something different. So it started talking about Sachin Tendulkar, best cricket career is during the England trip. Now suddenly you started saying, no, I am not talking about the England trip. Can you tell about a Bombay context? So the chain of thought is, you talked about Sachin Tendulkar, you talked about cricket, and you talked about whereabouts. So then you are getting closure, because many people say AI is giving a wrong answer. Obviously, it cannot give a right answer unless you set up a right context. Okay. So next 25 years, 25 years back, we have seen people learning C, then we have seen C++, then we have seen Java, then we have seen Spring Boot, microservices for a Java family. For a now, you will not be asked to write a code. The code is written hundreds of times by thousands of people, and millions of code is already written. So how do you retrieve that code? How do you retrieve that code, and how do you use it for a purpose? That's all about prompting. Now, many times you may ask a prompt, what is 2 into 2? It says 4. You can go and ask, have you calculated 2 and used a asterisk, or have you used for loop, right? So 2 into 10. 2 into 10 means the 2 has to be added 10 times. That means it has used for loop. So you can tell it, I want the less memory to be used by the code. If at all you have to use less memory by the code, you should not declare the variables, you should not write for loops, you should not write if conditions. Directly you should go into malloc, memory allocations. If I ask this to a normal code engineer, he can never understand the mallocs in a current generation. But your ChatGPT can give million lines of code without even consuming any on your RAM or on your CPU. It directly goes to the memory on the server. So the prompt engineering means, okay, so why the prompt engineering is very important. Okay, write a code to multiply any 2 variables and store the answer in 3rd variable. Okay. So the more you go deep, it will actually helps you out. And I want this code in C language. Give me in C language. Welcome back. I think it's been a very long time that you have seen the C code, and I literally love the C code. So the current focus for the next 15 minutes about the coding. So kindly bear with me. And if you are into marketing, if you are into strategy, we'll also discuss that, because we have another 1 hour time. Now, this is where I have started much before the C era. Include stdio.h, int main, printf, scanf, C is equal to A into B. So this is in C, right? Now let me ask, please upgrade the code. Please upgrade the code into C++. So before I click on the enter, what is the difference between C and C++? In C, everything is in main. You have only one class, that is a main class, and you have a function here, scanf and printf, and these functions have been called using the stdio.h, right? C++, the moment we talk about the C++, it's object oriented. You have a class and method. So the reusability started. But still, if you go back to those C days and C++ days, we never talked about databases. So it is a temporary calculation and temporary usage. So now you can see how the code got evolved. The code got evolved. Now it is talking about IO stream, include IO stream, and int main, C is equal to A into B. Okay. Can you write the code using classes and methods? Let me show the object oriented mechanism. Okay. So now similarly whatever I am asking to ChatGPT in a banking and finance, now can we upgrade to applet and servlet. So that's the time we have first seen the applet and servlet in Java. That's the time we have seen the front end. Your applet is your front end, plus where it is a back end or a command prompt based. So if you look at now the public static void main, okay, and HTML page to run the applet and Java servlet started. So this is where the front end back end services started. Now what's next? Spring Boot. Can you upgrade the same code into Spring Boot? So the moment we talk about a Spring Boot, you have a detailed folder structure and you have a detailed framework, but the multiplication is same. It is taking two variables and it is giving third variable and storing it out. So now we have a controller, service, DAO, DTO, all these things have come up, pom.xml, boot app, DTOs. So the moment user gives a hit in a front end, it comes to the controller, from there it goes to the service, it picks up the DAOs, DTOs, entities and then responds back. Now your simple prompt is giving all these things. Now let me ask, can you upgrade it to the microservices? What is the capability of a microservice? Microservice can act like every service, multiply service, addition service, subtraction service, division service. Initially, your C program, it was only taking the two variables, multiplying it and giving you the variable in the third. So it's a, now think of multiplication service as a registration service. Think of addition service as a KYC service. User has to do the KYC. Think of addition service as a KYC service. Think of subtraction service as a loan service. Think of division service as a loan approval service. Think of other service as a disbursement. Now we see API gateway. Okay. So what we have seen is a API gateway. So when you are writing a code, when you are giving a prompt, one should know what is this. So it's a simple C language we have seen, and C++ object oriented, and then applet, servlets and Java, and then we have seen Spring Boot and microservices. To ask all these things, you should know what you want to ask, right? So many times, if you don't ask a right question, the prompt engineer or prompt cannot give a right answer. Lot of times, the bad people uses any new technology for a bad purpose. There will be always a hackers. There will be always a misleaders. So they are the one who is going to enjoy the every new technology. After that, you will have more people objecting it, saying that, oh, AI cannot do this, AI cannot do that. See, it is giving a wrong answer. You should not worry about what it is doing wrong. You should understand how it is doing wrong. So the mindset, okay. So how it responds? It focuses on context. It always focuses on the context. My question to the young boy, sorry to ask this question in the middle of the thing, but just stay focused. Because we answered and they have given a reply. My question is 3, 8, 15. What is next? 3, 8, 15. What is next? That's a most simple question in the mathematics. it is 2 square minus 1 3, 4 square minus 1 15, then next it is 5 square minus 1 24. So the ChatGPT understands the context. You have to give the context to it. Okay, hey, can you suggest a good dress for me? Then it don't know what is the purpose. You have to tell, hey, tomorrow is a Sunday, 6 p.m. I have a date with my girlfriend and she is from New Zealand. Then obviously you get a choice accordingly. So you have to set the context and give a right prompt to it. Do you use Hugging Face or do you use Volama? So the CTO has to focus on that. And what is the role of a marketing person? To understand the latest social media platform and how do we push the content into the latest social media platform. So role-based prompts. So you can define a ChatGPT saying that, hey, from tomorrow you are a RBI officer. So the moment I say you are an RBI officer, it actually goes to the RBI website, gets the RBI notifications and looks at my terms and conditions and it keeps updating. Okay. So prompt use. So if you look at most of the times, every day we do set of tasks. Set of tasks could be uploading a content in the LinkedIn. Set of tasks could be reviewing the Facebook or conducting the interviews, doing the analysis, suggesting a tool, or it could be suggesting a stock. So these are all the set of tasks you do every day. So when you are doing a set of tasks every day, you can actually use a template, the prompt template. Even for coding purpose, you can write a prompt template and you can reuse it. So prompt engineering toolkit. So definitely you should have Google accounts, YouTube accounts, so that for a content writers, and Canva account and DALL-E account for images creation, and screen recording tool for demos. So this is very specific for the content creators and content writers. Very important. This is what we have discussed. In prompt, we have something called 0 shot, 1 shot and few shot. Tell about Agarwal is a 0 shot. So are you talking about Rakesh Agarwal or Radha Agarwal? You don't know. So the 0 shot will never give a right answer. And 1 shot, tell about Rakesh Agarwal of Voyo, you will get the right answer. Tell about Rakesh Agarwal of Voyo before launching the Voyo and after launching the Voyo, and what is the kind of business he is doing and what is the key takeaway for me. Is there any key takeaway for me? So this is how the prompt engineering works. This is how the 1 shot, 0 shot, few shots works. Perfect. So can AI get virus? Definitely it cannot be like your regular Trojan virus kind of type, but the people whoever is using chatbots, people whoever is using ChatGPTs, if they start feeding the wrong data, so it will be misleaded. The ChatGPTs and Claudes will be misleaded in a wrong direction, but the virus will not be attacked. We cannot call it as a virus. So, but you will have a prompt injection, hidden instructions, you will keep getting a wrong answers. Debugging prompt like a pro. So what is debugging in prompt engineering? Whenever you write a code, you run the code to understand are there any challenges. That's what we call it as a debugging. So what is debugging in prompt engineering? You wanted a certain answer. The certain answer is Sachin Tendulkar has hit a century against the Australia during the World Cup in 2004. If that is the answer you want, you should start writing the prompt and then debug the prompt, improve the prompt till you get the right answer. Prompting mistakes to avoid. So this is what we asked, right? You should not ask incomplete questions. If you say, help me to do stuff, what stuff? Okay. Ask multiple questions at a time. Can you tell what Sachin Tendulkar is doing when Ganguly is bowling? So the context is missed. AI cannot understand that context. You should be asking one prompt at a time and then setting the context, one context at a time. Prompt versus completion. The responses are called completions because once you start building the large language models, it talks about I am taking so many tokens for the completions. Here completions means the responses of ChatGPT. From average to awesome, weak to strong. If you want to add a strong response, you should say, hey, I am responding to the CEO of the company. Make sure the prompt is in a soft tone and make sure the response is in 200 words with a lot of respect. So that's how you tone it. And if you are responding back to your classmate, your answer is different. Hey bro, how are you doing? What did you do last night? Oh, is it really awesome? So you have to make the prompt and ChatGPTs to understand with whom you are interacting, how you are interacting, what is the role, what is the tone. That's what it says, the role, format and tone. Okay, so do you want to, most of you might have used the prompts, but you can try after the sessions. If you want to get a profile that matches to the Infosys job, you just give the Infosys skill over there and say, prepare a profile matching to that. You get it on the spot. Okay, how to earn as a prompt engineer? This itself, I am working on 100 ways. 100 ways to earn as a prompt engineer. If you look at the journalists go across the market and brings the news and they sell news. There are organizations who sell news. So a prompt engineer can write a prompt, hey, get the latest news and post it in my YouTube, Twitter, Facebook and all. It's a one prompt and one agent which will pull the latest news and push into all these platforms. That guy, by luck, if the content goes viral, he can monetize the data. Now, I spoke about very generic. Think of a KPMG. What a KPMG does? KPMG says, should we use AI or not? Or what does this Boston Consulting, top 4 consulting companies, their job is to tell what to do, when, where and who. So now all those things you can do. You can act like a personal assistant to the Chief Minister of India. You can act as a Chief Guidance Officer to the Finance Minister without knowing anything. But all that you should know is how to prompt. So hundreds of roles. Today you don't really need to go deep about the what and how, but start at asking, hey, I want to become a Chief Technology Officer, or I want to become a great lyricist. You can actually start writing the lyrics by explaining what you want. So there are 100 ways to earn money using the ChatGPTs, Claude, Prompt, Suno. There are 100 plus platforms. As we go deep, we'll also discuss about that. So you can also act as a freelancer on these platforms, Fiverr, Upwork and Freelancer. Tell that I can create prompts because there could be a lot of people who don't have time even to create a prompt. Okay. So think of a cricketer. He has to focus on the game, but the team around him actually gives a commentary, gives the photos of the commented the player, and then they can earn money. So you can join as a freelancer on these platforms and tell to the cricketer, I will be your prompt engineer and I will create a data for you. Let's monetize together. So we discussed about the templates and packs. So you can actually write a set of prompts that works well on Monday and set of prompts that works very well on Saturday. So your prompts, your prompt engineering, your prompt pack for a designer, for a software engineer, for a politician, for a cricketer, everything changes. So you should decide the role, the template, and then keep them ready. You keep generating the prompts. And you can become a mentor. So think of a person who is very unstable and who actually wants mentoring. You don't need to know the subject, but if you can handle that person and use the prompt and teach the prompts, you can become a professor of prompts, you can become a mentor of prompts. build your prompt portfolio. So why I am talking prompt is technology will change, tool will change, ChatGPT will change, the cloud will change, there could be a new product coming up. But on any product, as a software engineer, you are supposed to write a code in the olden days. Now, you are supposed to write a prompt to get the code. So the prompt engineering is very important. That's why I am spending more time on the prompt engineering. I have shown you the tools, how to ask the prompt and how to get the code, how to get the images and how to get the videos. Now, keep your prompt templates ready and portfolio ready. So what do you take the example of movie industry? In the movie industry, there are 24 crafts: the stunt master, the lyricist, the singer, and the beautician, the backdrop manager. So what is your portfolio as a prompt engineer? You can define a portfolio. So you can say, I want to become an adventure photographer. So that's your portfolio. So when you want to become an adventure photographer, you have to literally go into the forest and take the photos of the birds. But here it's not required. You will write a prompt. Hey, think I'm in a deep forest where there are few birds and I am taking a photo of one bird when it is laying an egg. So that's the kind of prompt you can give, and that's your prompt portfolio. So think of, if you look at our own ASKOXY loans, we are giving loans to women, we are giving loans to student deals. So you can talk about women loans as a portfolio, and you can start creating various women on the prompt, and then they talk for you, they work for you. So now with this basic understanding, you are actually ready to become a prompt engineer, and you are ready to accept any tool. We have shown the tool in the starting, we have shown the tool in the middle. Tools you can also access. They are very friendly. I can write a prompt and then bring you the image. I can write a prompt and bring you the video and all, which we have seen in the starting itself. With this, I want to say you are ready as a prompt engineer, you are ready as a LLM engineer, because AI and GenAI. AI is writing about LLMs. It could be a large language model, small language model, medium language model. It depends upon how many tokens you are creating and how many tokens you are working on. Okay, so jobs you can do as a prompt engineer: AI content strategist, chatbot experience designer, product tester. So as a testing professional, you can use the ChatGPT very well. You give the use case, user enters ID and password, system displays a dashboard, right? So now you tell this to the ChatGPT, it will give positive test cases, negative test cases, abnormal test cases, everything, right? So research intern. So if you want to research what's next in AI, you can ask the prompt, what's next in AI, it will help you out. So you can design prompt services. This is what we have discussed. From prompting to consulting. So many people want to know how do you consult a doctor and what to talk. So recently we have seen a article talking about chronic disease. Last 15 years they are visiting a doctor is giving a medicine, but that's not solved. So finally the couple fed up, and then they asked the ChatGPT, it has set some procedure and the problem was solved. So you don't need to be a doctor to do the prompt engineering. You need to understand the problem of the patient. You need to be able to define the problem of the patient to the prompt engineer well, and then get the answers. Let the doctor validate. So a lot of times doctor also will come back and say it's a miracle, right? So for the doctors to do miracle, prompt engineers are required, and you can become a consultant to the doctor. Instructional prompts. So if you look at a coffee machine, the moment you click on the cappuccino, it actually takes the milk, coffee and then sugar, and it prepares. That means the instructions are written on the motherboard of the coffee machine. Similarly, in the AI, if you give the instructions, do this first, do this next, it will actually follow that. Exploratory prompts, sometimes even I do that. So exploratory prompts is you don't have any objective, hey, what's new today? How can I do something different today? What makes more lucrative today? What gives more lucrative money? So it's exploratory, right? Exploratory testing we do, exploratory coding we do, even a housewife does the exploratory dishes in the kitchen. So bring up the new combination, you get the answer, right? So exploratory prompts are very important. Chain of thoughts we have discussed, few shot prompts we have discussed, zero shot we have discussed, role based we have discussed, agent style also we have discussed, set of instructions, set of assistants will become an agent. Meta prompts are prompts that improve the actual prompt. So it's like your metadata. Okay, ad hoc prompting, we have seen the exploratory prompting. Exploratory prompting is without any intention, you are asking the questions. Similarly, ad hoc is unstructured. So in a starting of the session, we have seen a structured, hey, tell about Sachin Tendulkar in test matches in India against Australia. That's a structured approach of writing a prompt. So what is unstructured? There is no logic. Can you tell me something crazy today that can actually yield good earning? So you are talking about earning is the objective, but you really don't know what you are asking. So structured prompting we have discussed. Evaluated prompting, compare different versions. This is what even I do. I give a prompt to the ChatGPT, I give a prompt to the GitHub Copilot, I give a prompt to the Claude and compare them. What are the answers? Are they using the same framework? Are they using the same structures? In fact, sometimes I ask the ChatGPTs, can you tell me what framework you are using? Can I replicate you? So optimized prompting. So what we have done is, if you look at CMM level 5, so you have set of tasks in level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 and level 5. So optimized prompting is, how do you get a right answer on a first prompt? Okay. Agentic prompting. Agentic prompting means you are not writing prompts, you are not setting up the goals. Goals are predefined. In a month 1 you have said by 15th we have to achieve so and so. So they are agentic prompts. So agents are set, the prompts are set, they work on their own. That's called autonomous. That's what we are talking about, autonomous cars. So with that, I am stopping the session and good to take the questions. So the objective is, how can we bring AI in front of the millions of users? What we have seen is a completely theory. As we go into the more sessions, I will actually help you out in building the LLMs itself. You can actually build the LLMs along with us. You can write the wrappers along with us. I'll show them once again. When we started the session, I have showed that. I'll show them once again. Water. So this is where we have started. Let me take up a new route now. I want to build LLM for banking and financial services. How many tokens we should push into DB? Okay, and response should not exceed 20 words, right? So many times we see, okay, so let me share the screen back. I am actually doing a screen share. Check, can you see my screen? Okay, so on a Google Meet, people are able to see the screen, but okay, the people in the session also are able to see the screen. So what we are trying to do, we are back to prompts, okay, and we have seen structured prompts, unstructured prompts, domain prompts, okay. Now I am talking about banking and financial services. In banking, RBI declares the rules. Can you build a rule engine? Can you build a rule engine based on the RBI P2P lending framework? Okay. Response in 10 bullet points. See how I am working with it. So now I am expecting a response in bullet points so that I can actually target. So it is saying collect and digitize RBI guidelines, define rule templates, create rule repository, design rule engine core, API driven checks, dynamic rule updates. So after this I said, look, you are my CTO. You should be able to pull the data and build the code and go live. Can you do it? So I'll use that Telugu Sameta, Adigande Ammaina Petadantaru, ChatGPT kuda ante. You ask what exactly you want, it will give you. So now I said, you are the CTO, can you do that? Yes. Data collection, structuring, now it is talking, I can do it. Okay. So can you pull the white paper for RBI guidelines for P2P latest? That means I should know what to ask. Okay. So it is saying the full white paper is so and so location. So as a CTO, your role is take the white paper, understand terms and build the code. I am giving the rule book here. So actually I am feeding the P2P guidelines. So this is what we are trying to achieve. White paper to white label platform. RBI says we are launching a new product called bold loans. Like a gold loans, there is something called bold loans. Anybody gives GAN, they will get a loan. For example, they have launched a white paper. So the white paper talks about the rules. If I give that rules to my CTO, he will actually build the code, he will actually deploy the code and he can give the live URLs. Okay. So let me see. What are your thoughts? So it is actually going through the PDF, okay, which is having the P2P guidelines. So we all know the P2P guidelines because most of our team members are ASKOXY loans, investors, lenders and all. So it is saying the core understanding is so and so, lender exposure less than 50 lakhs, borrower aggregate less than 10 lakhs. Okay, perfect. Can you build the mock UI? How many screens you want to build? So there are situations in 3 days I was able to build end-to-end platforms, but you should also have an engineer who can deploy those code and then get the things done moving. But now there are new agents from the ChatGPT, you give the code, it will actually deploy in the ChatGPT server. You don't need even AWS. You will wonder tomorrow if I say ChatGPT will kill the AWS, that may also happen, because I am generating the code on ChatGPT and deploying the code on AWS. Now what if the ChatGPT itself is giving a server? Why should I go to AWS? So landscape is changing rapidly. Landscape is changing rapidly, and even the following is also finding it tough. So do you want me to generate a React based dashboard? Yes. So a thought, an idea, you explain the idea, you generate the mockups, you generate the code, and then say push into the ChatGPT cloud, give me the URL, the job is over, right? So most of you know Google sites, right? You can launch a Google site in a minute, right? So similarly, now you can launch a production commercial platform in hours. Right? The complete code has come. So now all that you have is you should have a person to run them and then push it into the GitHub. So even GitHub is not required. If once see the tools here, I have a tools called Deep Research, Create Image, Web Search and Canvas. ChatGPT is adding agents. It will add an agent called push the code into the server. Then it will actually goes into the server and I will get a production level URL link. Can you create image for the mockup? So we looked at why prompt engineering is important, because tools keep changing. The prompt, structured prompt, unstructured prompt, chain of thoughts prompt, zero shot prompt, few shots prompt. So how we learned writing if else condition, how we learned the for loop, how we learned the while loop, how we learned the databases normalization. Now we have to learn the prompts to do all those things. Okay, so the image is getting generated. If you want to ask any questions, you can ask. Morning we have also seen how the video got generated for the Mission Million AI coders with a simple prompt. So while the image is getting generated, I want to tell you, this is GenOxy, our own AI platform, GenAI platform, built on ChatGPT wrapper using the APIs. These are my API keys. This is how we have built the GenOxy. We have taken some time. Now we are training it on the banking and financial services, especially for the loans, because we are in a peer-to-peer lending loans. Along with the peer-to-peer lending loans, we also want to give the other loans now. So all that is going to be taken care by our GenOxy. So this is technically very confidential. No developer wants to show this, because by showing this, I am making your life easy. You can also start building it tomorrow. So the image is still under creation. You have seen all those images I have created using ChatGPT itself. So does that mean the designer job is taken over? Definitely, if there are 4 designers in the office, you really don't need 4 designers now. You need only one, but who is good enough to play around with the images. So here we have seen so this is the header and the router. It's in React. Okay. Now we are going to see the mockup for this code. So that's the mockup. That's the dashboard, right? So think of, in just a year back, visualizing all these things was taking months. There was no visualization capacity to the people. Now with a one prompt I am able to visualize, and if I sit a full day, completely visualization completes and then I can go live. Okay, there will be limitations in going live because it has to be production level, couple of testing rounds has to happen. Now even your agents can do the testing. You don't need manual test engineers. Okay, so with that I want to open for the questions, and I also want all of you to talk about the AI, join our Mission Million Coders. If more people are joining, I want to do this every day, and I want to start giving the assignments. They will work on the LLMs, they will work on the GenAI, they will work on our banking and financial services. So we are looking at creating jobs LLM, loans LLM, CTO LLM, Codex LLM, which means you think of a plumber. Our agent cannot do the plumbing work, but our agent can tell you who is a good plumber, and our agent can tell you what are the good tools for a plumber and where do you get at a cheaper cost. So every human work, every human role we are converting into the LLMs. It's not necessary to be a LLM, it's not necessary to be a large language model. We can do a small language model also with 2 to 10 millions of tokens. So we have last 6 minutes. If anybody wants to ask any questions who are on Google Meet can ask and live, and then we can take up the questions in the classroom one-on-one. So if you have no questions, we can end up the Google Meet. Okay, 3, 2, 1, any questions for the people on Google Meet? That's it, thank you. You can drop the questions to the WhatsApp groups that we have created, and you can actually go on to ASKOXY.AI and then you can write to us. Thank you all. So thank you all for the people on live across the Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta and Twitter, and thank you all over here. So thank you for all joining. Mission Million Coders is a long way to go. At the end of the day, we want to see how these learnings can convert you into our ASKOXY Loans lender or ASKOXY Loans borrower, because ASKOXY Loans is our core business. Whatever the channels we create, we want to build references for the ASKOXY Loans. That's our RBI approved peer-to-peer lending platform. Thank you. Radhakrishna, CEO and founder, ASKOXY.AI and ASKOXY Loans.